Hey guys, thank you for tuning into CMTEQ channel. So you are looking at the voltage and current characteristics for a silicon diode. So that is what is commonly known as the VI characteristics of a PN diode. So in this tutorial, I'm going to demonstrate via LT-SPICE simulation how to get these characteristics curve here, right? How do you obtain it? Don't forget to give this tutorial a thumbs up if you found it useful. Thank you very much. So how do you get these characteristics curve? Well, to get it, it's quite simple. All you have to do is to break through the barrier voltage. The barrier voltage for the silicon diode is 0.7 volt, okay? So as you start to increase your source voltage here, the biasing voltage, okay, now we've got the limiting resistance here, which is quite important, okay? Because if you don't have this resistor, what will happen is as soon as you reach the barrier voltage, the current is basically gonna go out of control and it will actually break the diode, because these diodes, they usually have a power limitation, right? So it might be a 1 watt diode or a half a watt. Now, if you let too much current flow in there, based on the dynamic resistance of the diode, there will be a power dissipation that might be too much and the diode will end up breaking. That is why you place a resistance to limit the current, just to ensure that once a diode is forward biased, you've got a sizable, acceptable amount of current that will flow in there for your circuit. Okay, now coming back to how do you get this diode forward bias, obviously you start increasing the voltage. Now, as we start increasing the source voltage, what will happen here, there will be some voltage that will drop across its resistance, right? Now, as soon as we breach the 0.7 volt, automatically the diode will start conducting. Now, in order to obtain this curve here, this nice curve that we are all very familiar, is you need to take some measurement at every steps. Now, let's say you increase this source voltage. You start from 0, right? As we're starting at this point here, this is 0. Okay, so you starting from 0, you increase it maybe by 50 millivolt, and you write down the voltage across your diode, and you write down the current. Now remember, this is a voltage and current characteristic. So this x-axis will be your voltage, and the y-axis will be your current. Then you start increasing your voltage with steps. You go to 100 millivolt, you take the voltage across a diode, and you also take the current reading. Now remember, there will be some current that will be start flowing, very tiny amount of current as you start getting closer to that barrier voltage. Okay, you're going to get that current until you break the barrier voltage. As soon as you breach that PN junction voltage, then you're going to see a shoot up to the current. Okay, that's why I said earlier, you need to have this resistance to limit the current to protect your diode from breaking. Now remember, diodes are used in various applications in electronic circuitry. Dropping that voltage across this diode might be of critical importance in your circuit. Maybe you need a circuit here that will tap at this point where there will be a forward voltage of 0.7, and you want that voltage to do something in another part of your circuit. That's one of the reasons you might have a diode there, to drop a voltage and do something with that voltage. Anyway, that's not the subject of this tutorial. Now let's move on to LT-SPICE and see how we can get these characteristics displayed on our simulation. What I just explained here is how you can practically get it by taking a diode and a resistor and start increasing your voltage source, and you should be able to plot the characteristics of your voltage and current, obviously by taking down your measurement. Now let's go ahead and build our diode forward bias circuit so we can get our VI characteristics plotted. So the first thing we need is obviously the voltage source. So I'm going to go ahead and take the voltage source. Then we also need a resistance. We already explained the reason why we need a series resistance in the circuit. Okay, then we need to pick up our diode, the subject here that we are analyzing, and we need the ground reference for our circuit. then you can go ahead and link up your circuit, connect it up to allow the current to flow. Ground, and we're going back to the source. Okay, now we need to pick up the parameters for our circuit elements here. So the first one is obviously the voltage. Now we know that the diode just need about 0.7 volt to be forward bias. Okay, the silicon diode. Okay, then there will be some voltage drop across the resistance. Now we're going to go ahead and maybe choose a voltage source of 3 volt. Okay, or you can just make a 5 volt. Okay, let's choose a 5 volt voltage source. Okay, and we pick up the resistance value here. We're going to say 1k, 1 kilo ohm resistance. Okay, then the diode here, we're going to pick up a silicon diode that is very much well known to all of us. That's the famous 1N4148, which is a general purpose rectifying diode. Okay, now before we can run the simulation, obviously if we click run simulation, it needs some simulation parameters here, the command. So we're going to run a DC sweep. So we're basically going to sweep the voltage, okay, from 0 all the way to the maximum voltage. Okay, now the voltage source here is V1. Now if you want to rename it, you can give it a different name, say VS. Let's go back into our simulation command here, and we need to finalize our DC sweep settings. So the name of the source is VS, which we already renamed there as VS. Then the type of sweep is linear sweep. The start value, we're going to start from 0, because remember we said that we're going to start increasing this voltage so slowly up until the point where we're going to reach the barrier voltage and the diode will become forward bias. Now the stop value, obviously it's a 5 volt. If you want to stop at 5 volt, making sure that your diode will be forward bias before you reach a 5 volt. If you want to stop at 4 volt, that's up to you. So we're going to say where we want to stop at 5 volt so we can get a full sweep. And the increment, now this is by how much you want to increment. So we're going to increment by 50 millivolts, 0.05. Okay, that's 50 millivolt, and then we say okay. As soon as we say okay, we are inside the simulation window. Now I'm going to just organize these windows into a vertical mode here and just zoom my circuit. And by the way, if you find this tutorial useful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to CMTEQ channel. That will be highly appreciated, and I thank you very much for your support. Now remember, we are interested in the VI characteristics. So that is the current that will flow across the diode as soon as we reach the break point, the PN junction. So as soon as I hit a current measurement here, you can see that this diode is very much forward bias. But when did it start to conduct? It started to conduct here when the voltage reached about 0.5 volt, and just before we reach 0.7 volts, somewhere there you can see the current pick up and it became linear. Okay, so you can now keep on pushing the voltage. The current will keep on increasing. It will keep on increasing until even this 1k resistance is not going to be able to sustain it anymore. It will just explode. Okay, and the diode will also burn out because now it's like just a short. Okay, so now what we're going to do here is we're going to take some measurement here so that we can see exactly the crunch point here, so we can see it properly. Okay, so now if I zoom here, we are able to actually zoom. Now if I zoom, you can see this is what we're seeing. So from 0 all the way, look here, the diode is starting to conduct here at 540 millivolt. Somewhere here, then you can see the current is increasing, but we don't have a full VI characteristics. We want to get that full VI characteristics. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to just delete this diode current plot, and I'm going to take some measurements. So I will measure the voltage across my source. Okay, that is my voltage across my source, and I'm going to also measure the voltage across the resistance. So there is a voltage across the resistance. Now I'm going to copy this, right? I can delete it now because I don't need it anymore. Now I'm going to come on my x axis. Okay, now on the x axis here, I want the difference between the voltage source and the voltage drop across the resistance. Okay, so I'm going to come here and paste the voltage that I measure across the source minus this voltage here, okay, which is a voltage across this R1. So that is V, capital V, node 001, comma, node 002, close bracket. Okay, now we've got a full sweep, and now you want to display the current on the y-axis. So I'm going to go ahead and measure the current. There we go. Now you can see I've got my current here on the y-axis and the voltage on the x-axis. Now you can see clearly where this diode started conducting, and if you link the 2 points here, let's say from 560 milliamps, and you link it, you're going to get about 0.5 milliamps from that point. And as soon as we reach the 0.7 volt, and you can see that this diode is now shooting the roof. The current is shooting the roof. Now, as a bonus for this tutorial, we're going to look at the power going in through this diode. Now, to do that, I'm going to click on ALT and measure the power. Now, look at the power. You can see the power is also taking that VI characteristics curve, because as the current increases, okay, the power also across the diode is increasing. Now, remember, the voltage drop across this diode is based on that dynamic resistance, okay? That dynamic resistance, also known as a parasitic resistance of a diode, an internal resistance of a diode. That is what is causing the voltage to drop across that diode, okay? Now, if you increase the current in there, that resistance is going to have a voltage drop and it's going to burn power, okay? Because P is equal to V times I. So the voltage times the current give you power, and this diode is going to start dissipating the heat. Okay, this is why you must limit the resistance. Now look at it here at 5 volt with 1 kilo ohm resistance, we've got about 3 milliwatt. Okay, we've got about 3 milliwatt here. Now let's look at the power across the resistance. Look at the power across the resistance. There we go. We got 20 milliwatt, almost 20 milliwatt of power across the resistance. That's a power burning through the resistance on 5 volt. Okay, because it's a very small current that is flowing here. We can see it's 4.4 milliamps. Now, let's say if you increase this voltage, let's say to 20 volt, and you keep your resistance to 1 kilo ohm, and you run the simulation again, okay, and then check your current. What's happening here? Oh, hold on. Our DC sweep here is stopping at 5, so we need to increase it as well. So let's go all the way to 20. Okay? And we run the simulation. And as you can see, the current went to 20 milliamps. So that is the current across the circuit. Now at 20 milliamps, how much power we are getting? Now the diode is now burning about 14 milliwatt. And what about the resistance? Now remember, the power is proportional to the voltage that is dropping across the component. Now let's look at the power across the resistance. Now this resistance is burning about 400 milliwatt. That's a maximum, but it is not at 400 milliwatt. If you look at it, we are at about 360 milliwatt. Now remember, this is proportional to the current that's going in and the voltage across it. As we measure the voltage across its resistance at 20 volt of voltage source, we can see that the resistance voltage is getting all the way to about 19, that point there. So that's about 19.25. If you look at the bottom left corner of my window screen, you're going to see that the voltage across the resistance is 19.25. Now take 19.25 volt, okay, and you multiply it with the current going through that resistance. How much current is going through the resistance? The current is 19.25 milliamps. So 19.25, let's say it's 20 milliamps, okay, for calculation sake. So that's 0.02 times 19.2, okay. Now that's about 384 milliwatt. How much did we get here? You can see that we are just about that 371, 372 milliwatt at the bottom left corner. So that is it, guys, for this tutorial. I hope you've learned something very useful. If you find it useful, please don't forget to subscribe to CMTEQ channel and give this tutorial a thumbs up. Until next time, cheers.